Hello, gentle marketers. Welcome to a special mini series on the Gentle Business Revolution podcast, the show where we talk about marketing your business by disrupting the current pushy marketing paradigm and changing it to a gentler approach, one that's based on empathy and kindness. I'm Sarah Croce. I'm the host here. And if you're a regular here, then you know that I sometimes host these mini series that are non-edited, no whistles, no bells and whistles, and no music, no intro music. So that's what we've got going on here. And if you're new here, welcome. So yes, this is a different episode, kind of different from my regular Friday episodes. That does include all the bells and whistles. So, but this week, I want to talk about my Kickstarter campaign that I just launched on December 1st. I promised you that I document this as I go. And so here's that first update, the real behind the scenes of a Kickstarter event. So it all started on December 1st, last week, and I decided to create a video from when I hit the launch button. And so that was kind of a funny way to start. And I then put that on LinkedIn, and I also used it in one of the first updates to the people who backed the campaign. So that was the first thing. And then for the first 24 hours or so, I had about 36 people who were backing the project. So probably half of them were friends and family, and half of them were people from my list, maybe some people from the podcast. And of course, I immediately told also my husband, go and buy the first one. So it looks like there's already somebody there. So apparently all Kickstarters do that. And I thought, well, it is a little bit cheating, but at least I'm not buying it myself. So it was Tony, my husband, buying one of the tiers. So that's what was happening in the first 24 hours, and it was a little bit nerve-wracking, especially to hit the launch button. And then also, I did keep checking, is there anybody new? How's it going? And then I was able to kind of say, okay, I'm going to turn it off 6 p.m. We had already organized that Andrea of my team, who was in California, she was going to take over. And then Mara, who's in the Philippines, she would then take over before I wake up. So we kind of had the whole globe covered in terms of, thanking people and commenting and things like that. So that went really well. And it was, I did experience this ease, and I didn't feel like, oh my God, I'm so stressed that you have to hustle all night. And so that felt really good. So before I logged off, I sent out the first update, thanking everybody and saying that we had a great first day. And then I do admit that I kind of still went into adrenaline overdrive, I think. And so I woke up at 4 a.m. and couldn't sleep anymore and just kept, thinking about it. And my doer mind woke up. It's like, oh, what are all the things that I have to do in order to get more people? And all these to-do lists came into my head. And so the second day was not great. I was exhausted and just kind of, I'm like, oh, I'm disappointed. I wanted this to be, easy and fun. And now I'm so tired. So second day, not so proud of. But then the third day, it was, I had a good night's sleep again. And so more people were coming in, and it was again a good day. So that's December 3rd. And that's also when we made our goal. So by then we were fully funded. And yeah, it was a milestone, right? It was a celebration. Thinking, okay, great, people do support me on this, and basically now my expenses, I guess, are covered for the book. So that's really good to know. Yeah, sent out another update, thanking everyone. And then announcing kind of the next step, because once you're fully funded, well, especially if that happens early in the campaign, well, you still want people to, see that there's still a point to be here, and maybe also still a point, especially for those who are new, who would look at the page, still understand that they still can join and that there's still a point to join at this point. And so I explained basically the next milestone, which is 100 backers. And as of this recording on December 8th, we're at 74 backers. And in Kickstarter, some people call this stretch goals. And I didn't want to choose stretch goals because stretch goals are usually in dollar amounts or whatever currency, but they're in money. So they're financial stretch goals. But that didn't feel good to me. I wanted to celebrate the people, not the money, because really that's what it is about for me. It's like, can I create a community that cares about this message? And so I, kind of explained this new milestone, which is 100 backers. And if we hit 100 backers, I'll share all the interviews that I did with other gentle marketers while I was writing the book. So it's part of my research. And I recorded them, the beginning of the year, I think. Yeah, maybe end of last year, but more of them beginning of this year. Yeah, actually some of them in the middle of COVID in the first lockdown. And so I didn't know yet then that I was going to do a Kickstarter or how I was going to use these. But now I think they make a great kind of giveaway and behind the scenes, for people who might be interested in that. So if we reach 100 backers, then I'll share those interviews with them. So that's that's kind of what's been going on. In terms of a future milestone, I also just shared another update, a video update today. And I explained, so I had one milestone at 40 backers, and I shared an update with them at 40, and then the next one is going to be at 100, and then the following one I put at 500, not knowing at all what to expect with this. And so in today's update, I'm like, I might have to revisit that number. So clearly you go in there and you have absolutely no clue what's going to happen. And so 500 might be a bit a faraway goal. So I might have to revisit that, because that would be a fun one too. I came up with the idea of doing a Zoom call with everybody and go through basically how I wrote this book in under 1 year, kind of like, what structure I used, what tools I used, and how I got organized and disciplined, and tools and all of that. So it would be a fun one, but probably not at 500 backers. I'll have to kind of think about what number would feel good and still, give people this motivation to be in there, maybe, help spread the message. So that's kind of what went on this week. A couple of things I also want to share that didn't go so well. So I had used, because when I did all this research about how you're going to, get the word out, I came across a couple of websites, and different people recommended this a tool called Boomerang for Gmail that you can use to schedule messages and send them out. So you basically schedule them in advance. And so and then they get sent out automatically on the day that you want. And so that sounded like a good idea to me, because I was like, well, how am I going to write? I think I had like 150 people maybe that I wanted to, write to in order to let them know that the Kickstarter was now live. And so I used this boomerang, and I did use, some of the copy that was always the same, but you actually have to write the email personally. So it's not a mass mailing. It's each person, you open your Gmail, you open a new email, and then you put in the text. And I did really think of each person when I wrote to them and then scheduled it. But since the main body of the email was always the same, people did not think that was a personalized message. They, probably thought this was like a automated message, because, well, let's be honest, we are using so many email list tools and automation that in the end, you don't know anymore. If it's not really like something that doesn't feel staged, and I admit that was one of the mistakes I made, that the main body of the message probably felt too much like an automated email. And so if I'm going to do another Kickstarter, I would not use those scheduling tools for Gmail anymore, because I was really kind of disappointed that nobody wrote back. I'm like, oh, that's too bad. But then realizing, oh, they all thought it was just an automated thing. So yeah, wouldn't want to do that anymore. The other, it's not a mistake, it's a learning point. I'm part of a Slack group, or Slack/Zoom mastermind, where I'm not the owner, I'm not the host. And so I had conversations with different people in this group, and they encouraged me, when the Kickstarter is ready, please let us know, and we'll help share and stuff. But before I did that, I wanted to obviously ask the host of the group how he would feel about that. And so he did get back to me and said, it's kind of like, it's a fine line, because it clearly can't come over as salesy. And so I knew that. Obviously, I was not going to say, can you please all buy my book? But I was going to present it more in the, more like, hey, if you feel like sharing, this would really, I'd really appreciate it, especially also because I really think the message of gentle marketing is aligned with what we do in this group. But he thanked me for asking. But since he mentioned this, it's kind of a fine line, then it didn't feel good to share it. So I decided not to share it. And so it really was also this understanding, just because you are so passionate about it doesn't mean that it will come over like that. And so you really need to be careful about sharing your Kickstarter, too many times, because clearly it's an event where you're asking for money. So that's really kind of a delicate subject in some places. So those are the things I learned. I'm also really focusing and keep reminding myself, it's just as much about the people who are already present. So the backers who are already in there and said, yes, I'm in, and yes, I believe in this message, rather than always thinking, oh, who else could I add to the campaign, right? And so I'm really focusing on the people who are already present by sending them video updates, and together with my sketch artist who also does the sketches or did the sketches for the book, we have this delicious sheep theme. And so she came up with some hilarious, I think, sheep visuals that explain the different reward levels. Just for that, I think you should check it out, because it's really just, I don't know if it's just me, but I just find them really funny. And yeah, so we had we just came up with that last minute. I was like, oh, that would be fun to add some visual representation of each reward. So we did that, and that was fun. And what else? Oh, I'll probably mention today's Gentle Business Circle call to them. So today is our monthly Gentle Business Circle, and I'll mention it to them because one of the rewards is being part or become part of the Gentle Business Circle next year. So besides the book, you get to attend the Gentle Business Circle calls every month for a year. And so I can kind of mention that we had our circle today and that we're all looking forward to hanging out next year. And so there's already about 35 people who are in that reward tier. So some of them are family and friends who won't join the circle, but I'm thinking probably, I don't know the exact number, but over 20, of course, for sure have, are going to be joining the circle. And so that'll be fun to kind of mention that. So yeah, just kind of keeping everybody in the loop of what's going on. My plan for this coming week, it's interesting. I have reflected upon it as well. And then when I posted my recent update, one of the backers said, he mentioned this, as a gentle marketer, what marketing is wanting to emerge through you? So that was a beautiful question. And what I answered is, here's what comes to mind. Be in the flow, share when it feels good, have beautiful conversations on podcasts. I have quite a few podcasts still lined up where I'm going to be sharing about the Kickstarter, but just gentle marketing in general. Believe in serendipity and let this campaign fall into the hands of the people who need it most and who resonate with the message. And also a reminder that my worth and value doesn't depend on the number of backers, that showing up is good enough. I think that is an important reminder for this time. So there you have it. That's the report of this first week. And who knows, maybe I'll have nothing new to report on next week, but maybe, just maybe, there will be more of these serendipity moments to talk about. And of course, I'd still love to have you join us as well at sarahsonacroce.com/Kickstarter. And otherwise, I hope this is just helpful to you to kind of understand how these Kickstarter campaigns work. And who knows, maybe you'll use one in your business one day. Until next week, let's be the change you want to see in the world. Speak soon.